Hello, everyone, and welcome to the premiere edition of The Green Room. Come on in the room. My name is Bobby BJ Daniels. I am so glad to have you. I hope that you're going to be a part. We're going to have an exciting show tonight. Very, very exciting show. We have a very powerful and energetic young man in the room with us. He's an actor. He's into fitness. He's into life. He's into all things positive. I have had the pleasure of working with him. He's my little brother. I'm his big brother. He's an amazing young man. Will you please help me welcome Armando Alera?
Aloha, everyone. Aloha. What's up?
Hey, man. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. The vibe is always cool. The vibe is always good. I tell you, I love it. You're always kicking the vibe. Welcome to the Green Room.
Thanks for having me, man.
Come in and have a seat. Let's go ahead and get started and put your information up on the screen. You can find him on Instagram. You can connect with him, Mondo, the actor guy. You can connect with him and just learn a lot. So let's kind of jump right into it. Let's have a good time. So you're an actor. You're here based in the Greater Toronto area, here in Toronto, Canada. Tell me about your acting journey. I'd love to hear it.
How far do you want me to go back? Because it's a wild one. It's a ride.
You can go back as far as you want. You can go back as far as you want, and I'll push the gas and let you know when we need to speed up.
Let's do it. So, I had a very, very interesting upbringing and childhood and everything, right? So, that led to a very interesting series of life events and choices. One of which was actually fighting. I professionally, fought in amateurs, did amateur kickboxing, amateur boxing. I lived out in Vegas, as Bobby knows, right? And it filled something in me that I couldn't describe with words before, and I barely can describe now. And it was invigorating. It gave me a sense of I don't want to say purpose, but it was like a very fulfilling, very it was a force, right? Like it was something indescribable. So from that, I ended up having to leave boxing when I got back here to Toronto after I came back from Vegas. After a little while, some stuff happened, and was hopping job to job to job to job, and I couldn't find anything to fill that same void, right? And it was like a gaping hole in my heart. And no matter what I did, nothing would do anything with it. And I remember that I was at the gym one day, and my buddy, he kept pushing me about acting. He goes, "You ever think about it? You ever tried? Something about you looks like you'd enjoy it. Like, give it a try, give it a try." And I was like, always pushing it to the side. It's whatever, it's whatever, it's whatever. Then I hit this one job at U of T moving some stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I'm 100,000% miserable. Like it's like something isn't right. Something's not clicking. And how do I put this? It wasn't I was unhappy, but I was no longer fulfilled.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Fulfilled. Yes.
Fulfilled, right? Like there's still that hole, and there's still this emptiness. And I was like to him one day, I remember, I was like, fine, where do I go? Who do I sign up with? What do I do? Gives me the number of this guy, EVN Studios, Earl Nanhu. Owe him everything. But I go, I check him out. We do an interview. He lets me into the first session he has open, the class. And next thing I know, I'm there with a bunch of kids, and we're all like, all right, let's see what this is about. And it's an on-camera class. And I remember what I did in the very beginning. I thought I was freaking Heath Ledger channeling my inner Joker. I watched the playback, and I'm like, that was freaking terrible. Like, what am I doing here? This is like a joke, right? I'm an idiot. None of this is working. And by the second class, I fell in love with everything. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this, right? Mm-hmm. And somewhere down the line, I'm like, something clicked. And I'm like, something's right. I'm like, all I want to do is this. This is where I want to be. I want to get better. I want to get stronger. I want to get faster. And before I realized it, I'm like, oh my God, this is fighting to me all over again. This is competing, walking to the ring. Every time I tell anybody about acting, I tell them in a way that I'm describing fighting. I always let them know, hey, this is what that feels like. And that feels like this, right? And I can talk to fighters about acting and actors about fighting. And at this point, hell, I'll talk to painters about acting or fighting, right? Just because it's a passion now, right?
Yes.
And yeah, like, oh my goodness. It was such a blessing. This was what, like 5 years ago now or something like that.
Very good.
And yeah, it's been a ride.
So for those of you who are watching, who are just coming into the room, if you're live with us, you can post your comments and questions and we can actually see them and respond to you live. So if you have a comment, if you know him, or if you'd like to know more about him, or if he says something that inspires you, definitely please chime in, make a comment today. Make a comment, we'll get it and we can address it and go from there. But it sounds like you found that journey to greatness. It's like when you got there, it clicked.
Yeah,
And I
so
think that
yeah.
but I think that's important for everyone who is living life. There are two things that I like. I feel that if, as long as I'm able to serve people and I'm able to create, I feel that word again, fulfilled. I feel like I'm living my life's purpose. So anything that I'm doing, I have to be creative with it. And it also has to be that I'm rendering something to someone to make them better, to push them along the way. And when you have that feeling deep down on the inside, then you finally know what it is, you know? So bring us up to like where you are now. You kind of jumped ahead, but you didn't know. I was going to talk about EVN Studios with Earl Nanhu. I've heard a lot about him, and you have taken several classes with EVN. And they have a very good reputation here in Toronto. But as you started building, tell me about some of your methodologies. How do you get to where you are? Like when you're working on a character, and again, you and I have worked together offline, so I know that you're very, again, passionate. You're 100 into what you do. But tell us, how do you get into character? How do you jump right in and make it happen?
So the process, this is always a fun question because it's like, when you get to talk to other actors about their process, you realize how scientific or meticulous or just very detail oriented everybody is. And at the same time, it's a extension of their heart, their mind, their character. And I love it, right? For me, it's very interesting because I just know how I appear to people. I'm the aloha, like mahalo guy, like real chill, real laid back. And no one ever expects this. But the first thing I ever do is I kind of read it. Well, they'll probably expect this part, right? But I read it like it's a fairy tale or an adventure story. And I'll hold like my script or my book and I'm pacing around and I'm reading it in every accent possible, in every what's it called? In every connotation, in every context. I'm jumping around, I'm swinging a sword, I'm crying, I'm laughing. It's whatever. It's an adventure. And then this is where the work happens. I read this script hundreds, if not thousands of times, meticulously reading it and reading it and reading it. And sometimes I'm enjoying it, sometimes I'm analyzing it, sometimes I'm dissecting it. But what my main goal is to actually take in every single line as it is. I need, for me, to know the lines off book. Like the recent audition I showed you, where you were like, you learned all of that off book. I'm like, yeah, I have to, right? And the thought process behind me is, if I know every single line and I have a stutter, just like, whoop, I can still pick it up from wherever I am, right? No matter where I am, what I say, I can add whatever I want. I can be whoever I want. And because I know the line so well, I stop caring about the lines completely. And I say things that feel right to the character, things that feel right to me. And the other beautiful thing that happens when I read these lines over and over and over, especially when I start reading them with a reader or somebody else, it doesn't even have to be an actor. I start making little discoveries. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm saying it this way. This is who I am. This is what's going on. And I can add little things and take away other things that no longer have a purpose for me. And then from there, I start injecting life and more life and more life and more life till I finally get in front of the camera, do what I do, and like hope for the best.
So I hear that, but let me ask you a question. As an actor myself, there's an area that I don't want to say I struggle in, but I have to work on for myself. Do you struggle when you're delivering lines or when you're in that character in that moment? Do you struggle with not bringing enough to the character initially? Or do you struggle with giving it too much, having to pull back? Usually I give it too much. The greatest critique that I get when I'm doing live auditions or when I'm on set is sometimes the director will come and they'll say, "You're doing great, just pull it back a little bit. I don't know if that's because life is a theater for me. You know, with theater, the approach can be a little more, sometimes it can be a little more dramatic. But for me, it's always like, I'm bringing it hard. And then they're like, okay, just pull back. And, you know, so are you right on point? Do you have to make it come alive, or are you just a little too much and have to pull back?
I'm never, ever on point. I am my worst critic. I'm never good enough. No matter what I do, I'm never good enough. I have serious anxiety watching myself because I took a minute audition and I extended the self-tape time to 6.5 hours. I'll never forget that day. It was terrible.
Wow.
But either way, yeah, I ended up, what I do is just like you. I'm in it to win it. When I go, I'm a firecracker. And they usually got to tell me, oh, like, kid, let's reel it in. Let's just pull it back just a little bit, right? Like, you're too upset, you're too angry, you're too happy. And then when I get to pull it back, it's like, oh, okay, that's where it is, right? That's who I am. I'm like, everything doesn't have to be at 150 miles per hour, right? Life will wait. So, yeah.
Well, let's do this. Let's put the money where your mouth is. Let's take a break. Let's take a break from the conversation. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of your life struggles being a person, becoming Armando, becoming Mondo, the actor guy in Toronto. Let's take a break. Let's take a break and do this. Let's watch one of your commercials, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Every week, the workers of Westbrook and Ward would put a few dollars into a kitty for the lottery. And today, they hit it. A $500 million jackpot, split 19 ways. Should have been 20 ways, but someone missed work that day thanks to a dead car battery. Hey, there's always next time. You never know what a cheap battery could cost you. When you need to be there, you need an Interstate, America's #1 replacement battery.
Okay. First of all, that is a hilarious spot. Dude didn't come in that day. He missed it. But looking at that scene, what did it take? What did you have to tap into to bring that energy? Everyone is energetic around you. I mean, they caught you like in the first 10, 15 seconds, but you were still there. You were still on set. And being on set myself, many people don't understand. For those who may be watching, who may not be actors, that spot may have taken maybe 1 to 2 days. Even if it took one at minimum, it could have taken as much as 13, maybe 12 hours just to shoot because of angles. So the work is there. You do all of that work for a 15-second or a 30 or 45-second spot. If you get a minute spot, that's really, really good. But give me some insight before we talk about your life. Give me some insight on what it took to put that spot together.
I think that spot took about 6 to 8 hours. And every time we had to act like we were winning the crap out of the biggest Powerball jackpot you've ever seen, right? And I remember as we're going, like the first thing they say was, we're gonna need one of you guys front and center. I'm like, hey, baby, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. What do you want me to do? Take off a shirt, shake some booty? Let's do it. So we're in it. We're like, we're all hyped. And as it's going down, like as Bobby could tell you guys, or like, any actor can, it's like your energy starts like tapping out too. But we were expected to like bring 110% every single time. But it was really, really lovely because of the fact that like in the midnight hour, we just started saying, F it. We're just gonna do crazy things. So my boy, Josh, I ended up becoming very, very, very good friends with him. And what's it called? I remember I'm like, Josh, I don't care anymore. I'm lost my mind, right? So I'm like, I'm going to grab you by the leg. And I remember holding his leg, and I'm just ripping on it like flipping Jimi Hendrix. And Josh is losing it too, right? He's like, yo, that was the funniest thing I've seen. And let me tell you, this is 8 hours in. None of us have a voice anymore. Josh grabs me by the head and kisses me like I'm like his newborn baptized baby boy. And I'm just like, keep it. Like, they probably have us on the like off screen doing that exact move somewhere. It was crazy, but yeah, it was nuts. Even the background, like kudos to them. They were running around, doing like a chant with a fake plant the entire time. It was crazy.
Those kinds of shoots are always fun because you do get the freedom, to just really relax. There are some more complicated shoots where you have to be on point, you have to make your marks, and those are fun as well, because when you walk away from a finished product, when you have not pretended to be a character, but when you have become that character, when you have connected with that character from within, and it comes out, then you walk away from a finished product, and it's pretty much amazing. So let's shift a little bit. Let's shift just a moment. You and I, we've talked about this before, but let's kind of revisit it again. Being, I want to say, to be politically correct, a member of the BIPOC community, a person of color, even a minority here in Canada. Tell me about what your experience as a person growing up here in Canada has been like. What are some of your challenges? What are your life struggles? Because I'm sure that the passionate actor that you are, these experiences have aided in making you who you are today. I believe that the love and the passion, the 100 that you bring, the everything that you bring, I mean, all of it, everything you bring, I believe that growing up and experiencing what you've experienced, surviving what you've survived, is a great part of making you today. So tell us about that.
It's been a wild ride. I've been here since as far as back as my memory clicks, right? I think we moved here when I was about 2 or something. And like being raised here was very interesting. I remember as I was growing up, the guys that I was looking up to, the guys ahead of me, who were Filipino too, we didn't speak a lick of English. They had hard accents just like I did as a 4-year-old, right? They were telling me much later down in their life how much racism they had to deal with, right? Wow. And one of them put it in a way that I'll never forget. He goes, we sit in a very, like I grew up in a very interesting way where we didn't have white privilege because obviously we're not white, but we weren't cool enough to be like, we weren't tough enough and cool enough to be like the black kids, right? So we had this pocket, and we felt like almost like this chip on your shoulder that you need to prove yourself to everybody. And I'm like, oh man, that's heavy, right? And I remember when I was growing up, it was kind of like, I won't say it was the same, and I'm guessing I'm blessed, without tooting my own horn, to have the friends that I had, and being as like just able to get along with people, right? Where I could get along with a numerous group of people, and I always had friends from like every walk of life, and I always count my blessings because of that. And I always think I was really lucky because a lot of them helped me get through life situations or school or whatever have you. But even then, there was always this big chip on my shoulder where it was like I would get into fights with people because I wasn't bad enough or something. And I was like, whoa. Like, do you guys know who I hang with? I'm like, come on now, that's crazy, right? And then other people would be like, oh, he's never going to make it to anything because he's this guy. So it was always this weird gray that was really kind of tough to escape, right? And you're 100% right because of the experiences. And because of everything that happened, I actually keep telling people, one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I never thought I'd hit 30. I never thought I'd hit 30. I thought it would be over. I was like, if I ever hit 30, 32, I'd be like, oh man, I consider myself a grandfather. Not because of the age, just because I was like, I'm not allowed to hit that age. I was too much of a rebel, right? And then some of the guys will tell you too. Like I remember, you can talk to my coach. I was such a disturber still at like young 20s that I would have to ask him. I was like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna have a place to stay. Do you mind if I sleep in the gym? Everyone thinks I sleep here anyways, right? I'll sleep in the rafters like I'm Batman. And he's a sweet guy. Like that guy's one of my older brothers too, and he's always protected me. This guy would have loaned me his bike just to get around, right, while I was struggling and stuff. But he said, you have the keys, you do what you want, right? You got a shower here and what's it called? Bring you some food in the morning. And I'm like, oh man, like I had a good support system. And because of all of that, it's like you said, it wasn't always easy. But my mom, who I really look up to with the struggle she went through, which are way, way bigger than mine, way bigger than almost anybody I know. She said something to me. She goes, I asked her one day, recently actually, I was like, hey Ma, a random question, because I like stirring the pot. I'm like, I know how hard you grew up. I knew everything that happened. If you could change it, any of it, right? Would you? And she says, without batting an eye, no, not at all. And I'm like, whoa, why? She goes, because everything I have today and all my good fortune today was because of the tragedies that happened yesterday. And if I was to change one of them, I might not have the life that I love today. So when I heard her say that, I was like, dang, I started counting my blessings a little bit more and seeing what I've been through. And like where I am today, it's a good place, man. It's a good place. I'm happy to be here. It's lovely. Like all God has to do now is just wake me up and I'll take care of the rest.
There you go. There
Let's
you
go
go.
to war, baby.
Well, like I said, the times that I've been around you and what I know about you, you seem to be a young man who is connected with the realities of life, but you really choose to be positive overall. Because the truth is, we could all choose to be negative about all the things that we could spend hours on here talking about specific occurrences, things that we've experienced that seem traumatic, that may have seemed negligent. We could blame it on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, here we are. And every day that the sun rises, it's an opportunity to do something different. It's an opportunity to do something great. It's an opportunity to do something not only for ourselves and build ourselves up, but get out there and do something for someone else. So kudos to you, man, for like really, really pushing through, for fighting through. I tell you, we are running out of time, but I'm really enjoying the conversation with you. So we may have to have you back sometime in the future. But
yeah, hopefully.
Before we take another break, I want you to explain this to me. I'm going to post something up, and very quickly, I want you to tell me what this is.
Oh no. Oh yeah. That is a short movie I did. So I did a commercial for TD Bank way back when for the Philippines. It was actually my first Filipino role I ever booked. I was so proud to have it because I love representing like the culture. And I met a guy there by the name of Joe. And we always told each other, hey, we'll work together in the future. But as you know, it never really pans out. Like 99% of the time it doesn't pan out, but it's whatever. And then one day, I'll never forget it, Joe kind of messages me out of the blue, goes, how would you like to be part of this movie? And I told him, hey, let's do it, whatever. And it was a small part, it was nothing, but that didn't pan out. Then he's like, I need a lead for a action horror short film I want to do. It's my project, and I want it to be you. And I'm like, really? Yeah, this is my first lead role in anything. So we ended up shooting it. It was crazy. Like, it won some awards for audio and stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't get the acting award. There goes my Oscar. But it was fun, man. It was fun. And it was I got to be a lead in an action horror movie. And I told my mom about it because she's big on that stuff. And she was like, wait, horror? I don't do that. I'll watch you if it's you, right? I'm like, okay, we got a deal then. Maybe we'll make it a movie night, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was it. And then
that's kind of cool because that poster is riveting. Sorry to interrupt you. That poster is when I saw it, I was like, okay, we have to. I just want to hear the backstory with that. So look, let's take a break. Let's take a small break. We're gonna wrap up soon, but let's watch another one of your commercials. And there's a spin in this commercial that I'm just really, really impressed with. You have to explain that when we get back.
Yeah.
Now with the My McD's app, you can order on your phone, have your coffee brought right to your car, and collect the rewards you love. It's an easier way to McCafe.
Dude, that spin. Woo! Ah!
Yep.
That's cool.
That's what it is.
So give us some insight on that, especially for people who may be watching who've never been in a commercial, who don't really understand again what it really means. Like getting in that space, getting in that character, because we see, I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make as humans is we take the lives and the perspectives of others for granted so much. Mm-hmm. In other words, let's go back to the scene in the commercial. When we drive through a drive-through, we just want to get what we want to get. But have we ever really stopped to look at the perspective of the person who's serving us? What kind of day are they having? Are they in the middle of conflict? Are they tired? Is their stomach upset? Did they have to come to work with a migraine? Are they really happy because grandmother finally flew in from a long trip and they haven't, do we ever really consider the perspectives of others? So to do that, to put that smile on that face, to be that server in that commercial, you had to go somewhere in your mental to do that, to put that on.
Yeah, it was that whole McDonald's thing was it was wild. That was my first union gig, and I remember like they wanted us in there, and like they're like, we're gonna play a song, you're gonna deliver some food, let's get it on, right? And I was like, cool, got it, done. They play "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift. Now here's the thing, as free flowing and like whatever I am, I work. When I say I work. So I went through "Finesse" by Bruno Mars, "Wannabe" by the Spice Girls, what other party song? "Kate," Flowrider, just going song to song to song, and then I hit Taylor Swift. I'm like, it's gonna be this song. I feel it in my heart. It feels right. So when they started playing it, I have the biggest smile on my face, and I'm killing it. And I'm doing every type of dance move. Walking to this car, they must have made me do it like what 8 times back and forth, and I have like duck face. I'm doing spin. I'm doing like the ugliest Michael Jackson impersonation. I hit that salsa step, everything. They called me back 3 more times for 3 different callbacks, and then someone said, "I think they really like you. I think you got this." Every time I was like, I don't know, until the very last where I'm like, I'm the only one here, and they're like, "We just want you to dance, but do whatever you want because you're gonna have to do this around like 30 to 50 times." I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it, baby. So yeah, that spin move, once we got out there, just to kind of emphasize that point you were saying, that you don't know the type of day you're having. Even as an actor, I'm smiling and everything. We shot that in, I believe, February or early March. So there's still snow. It's freezing. There was actually, it was snowing outside, even though you don't see it. It was so cold that you could see my breath, and they didn't want it. And they're like, "You got to chew ice." And I'm like, "All right, let's chew some ice." I'm dying like doing this thing. And yeah, there, as I'm going, I remember the director, he's like, "Where are those dance moves you were showing us in the audition?" I'm like, "Bro, it's cold." But I'm like, "You want me to dance?
Let's go.
Do it. Let's go." So I start hitting every type of move. And where they cut off, I remember standing up, freaking out because I'm watching myself. Because I was in the gym doing sets, and when I saw that. And then I saw that commercial, and I stopped. I'm like, "Wait a second. Yo, the next move was fire." Like, I got low and everything. Oh, dang. I was like, "You cut it there? You should have let me walk in." Because I was like, It was nice.
Speaking of in the gym doing sets, you have a fitness component to who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Tell me, okay, how do we find ourselves here? What is your motivation, man? Like, you're killing it. You're a beast in the gym. You've gone through a process to greater wellness, to greater fitness, to greater life, feeling good about yourself, not only just mentally, but also physically, feeling great about yourself. What's up?
You know what? Like I always say, I owe it to the people around me, right? I wouldn't be this driven, this strong, this inspired without the people around me kind of saying, "Hey, right, we believe in you," or "We want to help you," or "We want to see you get there," or like it's just that feeling of being part of something bigger than just yourself, being held accountable by people that you really love and you care for. Oh man, it's empowering. Like for lack of a better anything, it's just I never want to let them down, right? And any chance I get to be, somewhat of a hero or something and represent them, no matter where they came from in like my life. That's a funny picture. If we were growing up together, or if we met in high school or university, or even a week ago, right? it's just like, hey, let's go to war, right? Let me do something dope by you. And I don't know, it's the same thing. Like even with that particular one, it was for a movie role, and my buddy, one of my best friends, who's my trainer actually, he kind of said to me, he goes, "You still want what you want?" And I told him, "Yeah, baby, every day." I said, "I still want it." And he goes, "Then let's get it." So yeah, I owe it to everybody, man. Every single person in acting. I never want the credit. I want to give it to everybody. I'm like, when I tell everyone, if I ever win an Oscar, listen to the speech. Listen for that speech, because oh my goodness, it'll sound like a rap speech. You'll be thanking everybody, and like, and least of which is the people in the industry. It's going to be the people who, like, it's a tribe. It's the team.
I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, the fitness is great. It makes you feel better. And like you said, I love the fact that you're already paying it forward. You're already paying it back to those who have made a difference in your life as well. Because I know it's cliche when we talk about being a village. It takes a village to raise a child, but our village is also important as well. But within the village, we have sometimes the good. We also have some of the not so good. But when you are a village, when you are a family, you have to deal with it and you cope with it and you work with people and you stick with people and you always put your best forward, and it will always come back to you in some form, some fashion. Life is not going to be perfect, but it's always going to come back. You know what? I'm really enjoying talking to you, man. We're going to run out of time here, but
Yeah.
I have, let's see, what else do I have in my bag of tricks? I have like 2-3 more commercials. I'm going to show one more. I'm going to show one more commercial. I want to show one more, and I've really appreciated you coming by. But before we do that, because I'm going to go out with that, I want you to speak to the audience now. And if you're watching, if you'd like to comment or if you'd like to ask a question, you can do that. We'll get your questions. We'll get your comments. We'll answer them right here. We'll answer them live. But I want you to look at the camera, and I want you to speak to someone who may be watching, who is considering not only moving into acting, or they would like to do something, but also speak to them finding their place, their fulfillment, their purpose in life, what they should be doing. I want you to just take a moment and speak to that and let it culminate your entire life's activities.
All right, no problem. So regardless, if you're trying to get into acting or you're just trying to find your place, no matter what happens, what you're thinking, what's going on, it's not just going to hit you. It's not going to be like, boom, this is what I need to do. It's not going to be an immediate, I see it, I hear it, I want it. That's what's going to fix me. For me and my experiences and the people that I know, what it was down the road, you kind of look back and you're like, that's the moment that changed, right? You want to be fearless when you go for these things, because fear is going to hold you back, and it's going to make you want to kind of pull back and not do something that may open your eyes to something that you never thought or even dreamed possible, right? I didn't think I'd be fighting, didn't think I'd be acting, I didn't think I'd be as lucky as I am with my career, because yeah, there's some really cool stuff that is just waiting to be shown, right? And like my advice to you is take the leap. Don't look, just leap, right? Sometimes we think a little bit too much. I'm an overthinker. I get anxious all the time. But if I stop and if I think and I never take that jump, then I'm just going to be standing at the edge of a cliff, looking at everybody else, who might make it and everybody else who falls. And I'm not here to live with regret, right? If we're here for a blink, hell, let's make that blink the best blink we've ever had in our life. And that's my advice to you, man. Just get out there, do your thing, live, right? Not necessarily live carelessly or recklessly, but live.
That's right. Live. L-I-V-E, live, not live, but live. But you can live live. You can be live.
You can live live.
That's what you can do. Okay, so real quick. Let's play a game, and then I'm going to show that final commercial. So I need quick answers. You only have less than 5 seconds. This is just a friendly game of would you rather.
Well,
all right. You ready?
Yeah.
Would you rather go into the past and meet your ancestors, or go into the future and meet your great-great-grandchildren?
Oh, my ancestors. Done. Next.
All right. Would you rather have more time or more energy?
I want time.
Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life?
Oh, pause.
Okay.
Pause.
All right. Would you rather be able to talk with animals or speak all foreign languages?
Oh, foreign language. No, animals, 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 animals.
All right. Would you rather win the lottery or live twice as long?
I want to live twice as long, for
Wow.
sure.
Okay. Would you feel worse if no one showed up to your wedding or to your funeral?
Ooh, wedding. It's about my wife.
Well, you wouldn't feel anything if they didn't show up to your funeral, right?
Ah, I like that too.
You chose the correct answer. All right. Red pill or blue pill?
I don't even remember which one's which. So everyone would kill me. I'm sorry, Matrix fans. I just can't remember.
Oh, would you rather be without internet for a week or without your phone?
Take my phone away. Take both away. I don't even need them.
Wow, wow, good
Yeah.
answer, good answer. Okay, would you rather lose your vision or your hearing?
Ooh, take my hearing. There's a lot of lovely stuff to see.
Okay. I think I already know the answer to this one. Would you rather listen to music from the 70s or music from today?
Oh, 70s, baby.
70s. And old soul, and old soul, and old soul. All right, last one. And this is a big one because I know that you are a superhero fan. I know you've got yourself marked. I know you'd love to play one. Would you rather be Batman or Spider-Man?
Oh, Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Okay.
Sorry, Batman. You're not my boy.
Okay.
Spider-Man all day.
Well, I have certainly enjoyed the time. We've got one more commercial and then we're going to get out of here. We'll be right back. Watch this.
When we recycle right, we keep our environment healthy and our wildlife happy. Are you recycling all you can? Find out at recyclebc.ca.
Hilarious. Hilarious. No, that stare, that I can't even do it. How did you do it? Show me how you did it.
I honestly don't
get
know.
into character. Wait, get into character now and action. It was good. That was good.
It was
That
all the
wasn't
director.
good.
It was the director. He killed it. It wasn't me.
That was good though. But it was witty, a witty, nice commercial. A lot of fun. I do have to ask you. I'm assuming someone was in that suit.
Yes. A lot of people thought it was a real bear, but I was like,
Wow.
no. It was actually a very, very sweet, very kind, tiny girl in that suit. So it was like movie magic.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, listen, I want to thank you for your time. Again, if you want to find Mondo, you can find him on Instagram, Mondo the Actor Guy. And thank you for coming by, taking a seat in the green room. I appreciate it. You'll have to come back another time. I'll see you offline, man. We're going to be able, when COVID is over. And okay, you know what? Wait, one more thing. This is something I forgot to ask you before we go. You were working as recent as yesterday on set.
Yeah.
What kind, I've been on set since COVID, like we've gone back. I've been on set and work, but what kind of measures are you finding they're taking on set to make sure everyone remains safe, that the spread of COVID is reducing the bubble, et cetera, et cetera? What kinds of precautions are they taking on set with you?
Before we even get on set, we got to take a COVID test, right? And then once we're there, we're getting zapped by the thermometer. And during rehearsals, we're pretty much in the mask up until we shoot. And if you're not on camera, you're stuck in the mask. Essentially, you're stuck in the mask unless you're maybe the director. First, second AD, I think they can kind of, and the cameraman is just, but you know what? The cameraman's holding the camera. So like, hey, if he doesn't decide to wear the mask every so often, it's just like, you get it. That's a big rig.
Yeah, I know some of your larger productions, like some of your very, very larger productions who have the bigger budgets, are doing things like isolating everyone, cast and crew. They're literally reserving hotels, reserving private spaces for them. I know the biggest one that I know about, I know for like Tyler Perry with his productions, because he has his new amazing lot in Atlanta. What he does is he brings cast and crew on the set, on his lot, and he houses them, feeds them. They stay there to shoot the entire season. So they may be there 3 months, isolated from their family, from friends, but they're there. Everyone is tested. You can't leave the place, that kind of thing. I know there are some productions here in Canada where they're reserving hotels, and so everyone is coming in. I know one in particular where you when you travel, if you're flying, you have to fly with one airline. You can't even leave your home to go to the airport in your own vehicle. They send a sanitized, cleaned limousine to pick you up, drop you off at the airport. You're picked up with their vehicle, taken to their hotel. You have access to food 24/7. You're not allowed to leave. You know, you get the test. You're isolated before you even go on set, and you get a test even with that, because you have to sign a contract that says I will not, interact with others. So I know that, again, your bigger budgets are able to do that, but you do have smaller things like when you go in and you're doing commercials, 1 or 2 day shoots, they are not able to mount that. Like it's just not feasible in that regard. But everyone is making a step everyone's taking steps to make sure that we're all protected, that we reduce the bubble, that we reduce the bubble and try to eliminate the spread of this virus. Yeah. So again, I appreciate you. I'll put the information back up again. If you want to reach out to Mondo, you can find him on Instagram. We're here in the green room. You did episode 1. This is it. So we'll be back next year. I think our next live is January 7th. We have another guest already confirmed. So we're going to take a break. Enjoy your Christmas holiday. Enjoy your New Year's Eve, your New Year's Day. Get some good food. Even if you have to associate with your village virtually, make sure you spend some time with your village. Make sure you spend some time letting someone know that you love them, and not just those that you love already. Find a new person to go out and love. Find a new person. Find someone that you can serve. Go out and go to the store, get some hats and some blankets, and just go out on the street. Take a cup of hot chocolate, a cup of coffee to someone, and just let them know that you love them just because, with no strings attached, with no reason. Just let them know you love them. Show some love this holiday season. Armando, thanks again. I appreciate it. All right.
Bobby, thank you. Always good, brother.
For sure. Thank you for coming by the green room. We'll see you next time.